So, lesson one, this is the identity shift. We're going from chef to CEO to chief executive officer. How are you stepping into that role? And I always go back to this conversation because I've always valued the title of CEO even over owner. And I was sitting in a roundtable discussion with a bunch of my mentors, people from all different sectors of success. And they've all known me at different parts of my career. And I flew them all to Colorado. I sat down with them and I hired a moderator and she proctored a 2-day session. And we were discussing my brand. How do I see myself? Where do I see myself going? And it was really, really tough to go through something like that. But one of the questions that really stuck with me was, why do you value the term CEO over owner? Because as an owner, you are the boss. There's nobody above an owner. An owner is above a CEO. I think a lot of that for me is just I see the position of CEO as someone who's in charge of many, and I view an owner as someone who is just separated. They don't really have responsibilities of managing people. They're more just collecting a check. So I think that's probably where my thought process is on the two different terms. It's open to interpretation, right? But at the end of the day, you want to become the boss. You want to become more than just the chef who's working underneath the owner or working underneath the CEO. You want to aspire to that next level. So most chefs, we're conditioned to believe that hard work is the path to success, right? Put in your time, do your reps, put in your 10,000 hours, get really good at your craft, stay clean, stay organized, run your departments, make your numbers, and you will be successful. We show up early, we stay late, we put in tons and tons of time, and we carry the people on our back. I mean, man, it's exhausting. At some point, you're gonna shift into that's your identity. I know I did. When I got to that position of chef is my identity, I started to get lost because I was so immersed in operations as a chef that I couldn't see myself as anything else other than a chef. That's where I want to start to kind of change your mindset. You have to see yourself as no title. You need to become so versatile that you can do anything. That's the difference of where I am today versus where I was 10 years ago, 12 years ago. 12 years ago, I started my first restaurant and I just wanted freedom. I didn't want to work for an owner. I didn't want to work for a boss. I wanted to be my own boss. And I had to go through so many lessons to figure this stuff out. And the biggest lesson was I had to learn how to let go of myself. I needed to understand that I'm the one that controls equal leadership. And I have to lead in so many different areas. I've got to be a marketing director. I've got to be a human resources director. I have to be a salesperson. I have to be a chef. I have to be all of these different positions all week long, every single day. So I shift hats all day long. I've had to get better at all of those things, which is what's allowed me to focus on having a different mindset within my career, not just being my identity in my career. I think focusing on system strategy, storytelling instead of survival is going to be the first step for you, because that was my biggest thing. When I started, I just wanted freedom, and I did not have solid strategies. I did not have good systems. I didn't have a solid story to tell. I had a lot of time lapse where I had to figure these things out. So my goal with this identity shift for you is to help you better understand that. When you're thinking about your business, what are you actually trying to say? What is your identity? Who are you? What does your brand represent? Because you are the brand. And you have to build trust with your brand. People have to respect it. They have to trust it. They have to believe in it. And then that's what will encourage them to buy your products. So as you're building products, restaurant's a product, a book's a product, a course is a product, a leadership training is a product, a workshop, a speech, all of these things are products. You are the brand, and you've got to start to think this way. So what are you actually saying? What is your identity? You need to put that on pen to paper and start breaking it down, because what's keeping you trapped in a kitchen right now? Is it ego? Because I know that feeling. I've been there, right? My ego gets in the way all the time. I have to get my ego out of the way to say, you know what? I need to take a couple steps back. Doesn't mean I don't end up in the kitchen. I love the kitchen. I've got 3 decades in kitchens. I had to step back and say, you know what? I can't only be in the kitchen. I can spend 2 hours, 3 hours, maybe four, but I can't do a full 15-hour day like I used to because that's not a good use of my time. I can make more impact if I'm doing different things. Are you still seeking validation instead of growth? And I'm going to touch on that a lot probably during this course because for me, I've chased validation so much in my career, right? Earning status, earning an accolade, earning an opportunity, earning a title, earning the next tangible thing, recognition. I strived for that, right? Getting on Top Chef, getting on Food Network, getting a James Beard nomination. All of those things were me just chasing validation, right? That was my own insecurity because I couldn't believe in myself. I felt like these things were going to make me a better chef. They were going to make me a better owner, a better leader, more successful. These things don't do that. These things help drive revenue. That's all those things do. And you got to think about it as a business mindset. How would your days look if you were operating as a CEO and not just the cook? Like if you weren't scheduling yourself to go do pop-up dinners or flying every weekend to go do a festival, right? Cooking, 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 cooking. You were actually operating as a CEO with intention. I don't do a festival unless there's a secondary reason. I have a sponsorship, a partnership where I'm getting a percent of sales. I have a relationship to where I'm going to get access to a higher client profile to where I can actually present to them my leadership training. I can talk to them about my keynote speaking. I can move my books. I'm thinking about my opportunities as a CEO. So when I say yes to a festival, that's why. I don't say yes just to show up and cook the dish and get the accolade. I'm not chasing the ego. I'm not chasing the validation. So you got to be thinking about that. Now, here's what I want you to do in this lesson. This is your homework right now. I want you to write your kitchen obituary. I want you to write it down. Be honest. What needs to die for you to evolve? Like, what does that look like? If you were to hand this piece of paper to someone to read at your culinary funeral, what would it look like? The habits, the fears, the beliefs that no longer serve you. Then I want you to name the qualities you want to bring forward. What qualities are you looking to become more of a CEO than just a chef, than just a cook? Is it confidence? Is it creativity? Is it freedom? Is it ownership? Is it fiscal responsibility? Is it a better understanding of how to invest your profits, how to grow your revenue? What is it? What do you want to focus on? Because remember, the kitchen gave you discipline. That's the beauty of being a chef. The kitchen gave us discipline, repetition and discipline. But becoming a CEO as a chef, it's going to give you direction. And that's what you're after. Once you have a destination, it's much faster to get directions.